And here's a look at the bracket and what you have to look forward to in the quarterfinal matchups coming up on Friday. Morocco, United States at 9 a.m. Eastern, followed by Japan and Spain at 11. Egypt and Paraguay will face off at 1, and France, Argentina will round things out at 3 p.m. That is going to be one to watch. A lot of storylines surrounding that matchup. But let's key in first on the United States getting not just the 3 goals, but the clean sheet as well. And watching with ease was kind of the feeling because the U.S. did look so dominant in that game in every phase of the game. Tony, what was your biggest takeaway from the performance that we saw from the U.S. and how they've progressed through this group stage?
Hallie, I think we figured out that this team needs to press and then they need to play at a higher speed and a higher tempo and be brave. That first 15 minutes, I don't know how many balls we picked off in the first 15 minutes within 40 yards of the opposition goal. And we talked about it yesterday, the difference between the France match and then the New Zealand match, and how we thought the identity of this team was more of what we saw against New Zealand. It's what we saw yesterday right from the start. So they get a great goal by Mihailovic to make it 1-0 on the free kick, but it came off a press again. And I don't see that we can change that style of play. We tried it against France. It didn't really work. But I understand the tactic against France. I get it. But I think they've put a marker down that this is how they have to play to be successful.
Yeah, Marko Mitrovic found the formula yesterday in the game, clearly. No Duncan Maguire. He opted for... I don't necessarily want to call it a false 9 because I don't think it was particularly that.
It felt like a false 9 for most of the game, right?
But I don't know, it functioned particularly like a false 9. I guess if you put a winger in that position, you can call it a false 9. But rather, the functionality of it all was that there was a lot of fluidity and understanding in that central channel between Paxton Aronson and Georgi Mihailovic. And I thought because of that, Mihailovic was better, Paxton Aronson was better. But Griffin Yao was a constant threat on the left, and Paredes was really good on the right. So it feels like this is the way to go. And not only that, with Tanner Tessman and Dietz was I think the biggest surprise of it all, right? Because, okay, fine, Duncan Maguire doesn't play, you have Griffin Yao, that felt natural, it felt normal, but we were all thinking Jack McGlynn was going to play in the midfield. But the presence of Dietz as the deeper of